Hey Tarot Sphere, it's Holly from Cape Cod Creatures, and Beaker and I are here with day 15 of Ethony's 31 Days of Tarot Challenge. It's basically the halfway point, you guys. That is super exciting. So today's prompt is, do you have a deck for personal use, and why or why not? So, as a collector, that's kind of a loaded question. Do I have a deck that I use for reading for only myself? Not really. I mean, there are decks that I don't tend to gravitate to when I do readings, only because of, where they're located in my home. Like, I have my first edition Wild Unknown, and that's upstairs in my bureau, and I do my card a day from it for the most part. And I haven't used it for other people, and it's not because I wouldn't, it's just because that's where it is, and I have other decks that are like right there and are way easier to get to. Yeah, you think that's pretty funny, huh? I know, you're making my hands be in a weird position. All right. So the other thing is, yeah. So I'm not one of those people that's just like, here's a deck I read for with me and only me. I mean, I have decks out there that I definitely connect more with, like my Pagan Otherworlds, my Wild Unknown deck. I've got a handful of Oracle decks that I really love, and those are the ones that I tend to gravitate to when reading for myself, but I've read for other people with them. Now, would I let other people touch my decks is that is a different situation altogether. So because some of my decks are indie, hard to print, hard to find, out of print, some of them are a little bit rare, some of them are not expensive, but like they're kind of pricey, right? Absolutely not. I don't let other people touch my decks. It's very much a I am the oldest child in a 3-child household, so it's very much an eldest sibling kind of a thing. Like all the hand-me-downs and stuff, like my sisters would just take my stuff all the time. So I have I'm very territorial about my things to begin with, if that makes any sense. Like, I know I shouldn't be, but sometimes I just can't help it, so I don't like when I see people touching my stuff. The other part of it is because the decks that I have are so, like, some of them are so special, as in, like collector items. Like, for example, my handmade Il Meneghello box Hokusai. Like, I would never let somebody else touch that. So I don't let, like, I think the only deck that I ever let anybody touch would be my US Games Rider-Waite, because it is super easy to replace. It's super easy to, and I might let, like, I've let some people, like, pick out their own cards from, like, my mass print edition of Wild Unknown. But for the most part, I don't really let people touch my decks. Which I think will be a problem once I start to read professionally. I'm just going to have to invest in a handful of the decks that I really connect with, that I read really well with, so that way if the public does touch them, it's not a really big deal. But yeah, so some of it is because my decks are rare, and some of it is because I'm a territorial beast, and then some of it is because I don't actually read for people in person very often. So I'm often the only one that touches my decks anyway. So again, while I don't have decks for personal use, I do have decks that I will not let people touch. So that is Beaker and Holly here with the day 15 of Ethony's 31 Days of Tarot Challenge, and I hope you enjoyed this little segment. Thank you guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.